Video assignment 3.
Are discussing our topics and our
Theses.
theses.
So,
Uh-oh. I don't know where to start.
uh, well, I think first of all, we're both using archetypes.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
using the archetype of the self.
And I'm using the archetype of the shadow.
My archetype is best represented by the Russian in the story, Heart of Darkness.
I'm choosing the shadow and using it, or how the other archetypes in the story that go along with the shadow are being used in a reverse way to make irony and ambiguity, basically.
I'm using the self archetype to show um, how how the Russian is sort of trying to not as much mediate, but try to make Marlowe himself mediate and make himself act more like the ego. And I'm also trying to show how uh, the Russian is Kurtz's basic opposite.
So then what would Kurtz be?
Kurtz represents the shadow. You could, I guess, I wouldn't say he would be, no, he's not the id, but I would,
Id.
id. But
I would say Kurtz is the id, because he's gotten to that point where he's so,
he just wants and wants
he
and
just
wants.
wants everything.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
that's like id.
Yeah, you can, I guess you could see him as the id, and then the Russian is, all he's doing is he makes Marlowe think about everything before he does anything.
So then would the Russian be the superego?
I would say the Russian is the superego and he's the self, because I think Marlowe wants to try to be more like the Russian.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't. And so he still clings to sometimes of what Kurtz wants.
Mm-hmm.
So he has his selfish moments, but at the same time he wants to be more. So that's why I think he places in the ego.
The shadow and like the irony. It's funny, like, or not funny, but it's ironic in the story how, like we talked about earlier, everything that's considered like white and pure, like the pilgrims or Brussels and the whited sepulchre, they're all actually really
They're actually negative.
evil. Yeah, they're negative things. And while the other stuff, like you can even consider the people that are in Africa, the black people. I mean, although they're primitive, they're actually the light part in the story.
Because they're not, the people like the English are the ones trying to basically take over,
Yeah.
and they're destroying the communities of these people that
Are
basically,
there.
yeah, they would never have done anything like this because they were fine being there.
Yeah. And it's like, well, something that I thought of just a second ago. It's ironic how on the boat there's like the cannibals and there's like the primitive people, but they're actually the most like mellow versus like the pilgrims on the boat who are like angry all the time and are like really
And you would think that it would be the
the opposite.
because they would, civilization would make you have like some sort of higher thinking and not make you some
Yeah.
beastly, I would say.
Yeah.
But they're
And
not.
I guess it's ironic in the way that like the archetypes that are being shown, like um, pilgrim civilization, um, Europe, kind of those archetypes that are normally shown as being higher up are just sort of like, I guess it's the way like the shadow works through those archetypes, because the shadow represents all the deeper negative things, and it's sort of ironic that the shadow is being represented more with the lighter archetypes versus the dark archetypes. And it's also ironic that with the archetypes, like you have the darkness of the forest and like the snake river and the jungle, and that's all supposed to typically mean like a dark, mysterious, evil kind of place. And while the place or what's going on in the place is evil, it's not the place itself that's evil.
Yeah, if you really think about it, it's more like
it's the lighter archetype people that are in the place that makes it evil.
Are y'all
yeah,
on the internet? Are
Uh,
you using the Wi-Fi?
yeah.
Did you
yeah.
lose connection just now?
No, I still have it.
I still have it.
Yours, okay.
Where were we at?
You're explaining something about the how it's ironic that there's so many, like, the things that should be light are in,
Or dark, and dark is light. Yeah.
yeah, in the junk, in like the river and stuff, and the river is supposed to be dark, but it's a actual like light
Yeah.
archetype or something
And
like that.
like this book just has so many archetypes. Like first is what I'm actually going to be focusing on. Like I also think that the like it's the archetypal like journey, you know, and
Yeah,
but it's more of a journey into the unconscious versus like you can have like
like
the
it's
basic journey, but then if you go from a psychoanalytic point of view, it's a journey into like
the mind.
yeah, and like Conrad's emotions or Conrad's feelings
Yeah.
about things
So could,
represented through Marlowe.
so you're saying that basically that Conrad is using this book to almost maybe like a diary sort of.
Yeah, because like he did go to the Congo, he did
Yeah.
go to Africa, and like it was horrible there. I mean, the Belgians had the most brutal like ruling over the Congo.
Mhm.
It was horrible. Like they just killed everybody and just took over everything, or just that little section. But